Hi guys, it's Sierra. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be running through some ideas that I have for my novel, because the beta readers have finished reading the book and it's a mess. I have a lot to redo, so I literally have all my stuff over here so I can like plan and figure out what the actual story is gonna look like. It's a mess in the way of just like certain things just don't make sense, and then even so, like with my characters, they're not as fleshed out as I wanted them to be. So I do have some notes on my phone, so I'll just be going off of memory of that, but also just breaking down at least like just the general idea. I won't be going over like too many details, but just things that I have in mind for editing this book. Yeah, so it's just gonna be a short video. I've been gone for a while because life. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and break it down. I have my trusty black notebook. I have like my book ideas in here, other random notes, pretty much dialogue from my other novel, well, the sequel to the other novel in here. It was like a perfect scene that I had in mind and I had to write it down. But yeah, I'm just gonna be using this to jot out just some notes and some ideas for editing Project Leo and Dahlia, because I need to. Anyway, starting off, the first part of it, once I get to like a clean page that's not too far away, the first part is pretty much just so hurrying up to the point of things. Like, I love a book that gets right into the drama. Like, you're just dropped right into it. You like turn around and someone's being slapped. That's the kind of story that I love. And yet, that's not the book that I wrote. Interesting, right? So that's like the first plan that I have. So I'm just gonna like number them of things to do. We'll just kind of like throw the characters into drama in the first page. And I just want to like briefly give it, because my main character, she is coming back from being in a mental facility for about a year, but I'm switching it to 6 months because that's too much time lapsing, I feel like. So I'm just gonna I'm going to reduce that to 6 months, and she's back on campus. She has reapplied, not really reapplied, but you know, she has given her college a letter saying like, okay, now that I'm in a better space, I can come back and I can actually focus on my education. But there's actual like criteria that she has to meet by the end of the year to remain a student. If not, then she gets the boot permanently, type of thing, which is very common with a lot of universities and colleges, especially if you're ever going through any situation, but especially like if you didn't take your finals, or if you did take your finals and you're like on the brink of flunking out. There are some schools that will give you a second chance to come back and do better, but you have like certain criteria that you have to meet, obviously, because they're like, if you're gonna take up space again, either you're gonna do it correctly or we're gonna replace you with somebody else that actually wants to be here and can, you know, succeed, essentially. So yeah, so throw the characters into, I'm just gonna put drama. So like have Dahlia on campus right away. So you really just like get into the thrall of what she's experiencing and her adjustment to life as a college student again after what she's experienced. And at first I've had like this book has had at least like 8 revisions, but now like having someone read the current version of it, having some people read the current version of it, I want to go back. I want to go back to my first draft, and I wrote it on Penzu. If you don't know about Penzu, Penzu is like a online diary journal thing. And on there, the version that I had, it was very short. I was like trying to like hurry it up and make it into like a short fiction, which I don't know why. But it wasn't as like cohesive, you know. It was kind of a mess. But I feel like this version is going to be a lot better. And just, hold on one second. Oh my God. Seriously, Jesus Christ. But yeah, the version that I had before, I think I started it in, oh my God. What was this? This had to be like 2020 maybe when I started it. Around then. Anyway, roughly. That's just to say, like, the first version was a long ass time ago. But I want to go back to that version and just tweak it to make it better, obviously. So, with this version, at first I had the love interest slash male main character coming in a little bit later in a way, but not necessarily like too late. Like the chapters alternate, but in the sense of like how he impacts the female main character story was a little bit different in the terms of their interactions with each other. But in this version, it's going to go back to the beginning of them literally having no choice but to be near each other constantly. So kind of like a forced proximity, especially with the male main character coming back to his hometown and literally having no freaking choice but to like have classes with her at college. And just to give it more of a setting, because the version that I was currently writing, it was on campus, but not really on campus, because my female main character, she's having to redo her last year, so all of her friends have graduated, and she's the only person on campus. Which at first, it worked in a sense, but I feel like now going back to it where everybody's on campus and she just has to redo like I would say her junior year would be a lot better, so that everybody's in the same grade as her at some point versus what I had before. But also the male main character slash love interest, he is a year older, so he is actually in his fourth year, or do I want to make him a TA? I don't know. That one is still up for discussion and realization of that part. But yeah, pretty much just have all of her friends on campus, which she really doesn't have a lot of friends, to be honest, including her ex-boyfriend. So her ex-boyfriend is going to be on campus. So that all falls under like the first point, which is kind of like the characters into drama, because it's like my female main character, she's coming back and it's like she's reliving everything over again, not necessarily in detail of the actual situation, but like it's inescapable. Like the fact that she's back and everyone is still there, she's like, oh shit. Like maybe this wasn't a good idea to come back. Maybe I should have taken my dad's offer and enrolling in a different school or something like that. But she felt like she needed to succeed, or like it felt like a need to finish what she started, not thinking that people are still going to be there because they're all the same age. Or maybe she's like, okay, maybe I can go there and I can find a different crowd of people to hang out with, or at least like just put my head down in the books and focus, which is what she didn't do the first time, type of thing. So kind of make it like she's being tempted, and you know everything that's going on around her while she's like trying to focus on one thing, but everything else is like just like clouded around her, messing with her, plus her interaction with the love interest and that whole situation. So that's like an idea that I have. Second point would be to, like, from the notes, it's very much like I struggle to like make my characters like humanized, which doesn't make sense if I'm the way I'm saying it, but like in the sense of like my beta readers pointed out like certain tropes and stereotypes that my characters are that I wasn't intending them to be. Like my female main character got the comment like, oh, is she like a manic pixie dream girl? I'm like, no, that's not her. I'm like, oh shit. I'm gonna reevaluate what she's like. So it's kind of like just really I've like sat with the characters and I know who they are, but trying to not play into stereotypes. So kind of like really like fleshing out my characters. And like with the love interest, I didn't want him to like put her on the pedestal, but with the way I was writing, I got the comment of just like, he kind of is putting her on the pedestal. I'm like, fuck, that's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm planning on doing. So I gotta like switch that up a little bit. But yeah. So like just reduce trope. Not even like tropes, but reduce stereotypes. And kind of like really think about the why. I feel like the why is like very important in terms of like my characters acting a certain way. Why are they acting like that? Oh, it's because of this situation. So this is how they would act in that situation. This is the why behind why he, like, you know, this is the why behind the love interest being mad at the female main at the female main character, or like maybe the female main character is doing certain things, and it's like, okay, so why is she doing that? What's the actual purpose behind it? Like, not just like, oh, her doing it for the sake of doing it. It's like, but there has to be a reason behind it. Like, what triggered her to act this way, or like what caused her to behave in a certain way. So like, why is she acting out towards her friends? Why is she avoiding her dad's calls, type of thing? Like, you know, like they really think of like the why and like break it down. So I feel like my trusty old DSM-5 will help, just to like really break down like just certain behaviors and how that can play into the character's mental health, but also really relating and trying to figure out the why behind it, in terms of not just the mental health side of it, but also just the humanized side of it. Like, oh, like, why do we do these things? It's like, yeah, well, we're messy humans, we're not perfect, type of thing. It's kind of really playing into that. Number 3 is like just to narrow down my settings, because I was like a little bit all over the place, to be quite honest. So I'm pretty much just going to stick with campus. Like overall the campus, or should I like be specific? I should be specific. So the library, the apartment building, and then just like one other setting where my characters are constantly are. Probably the dance. So there's a scene in there during homecoming that I have. I'm going to switch up like the obvious like situation, but I want to keep the homecoming dance there because that was like a crucial scene in the story. So yeah, that's got to stay there. That's important. Okay, number 4, I'm going to like dial down on talking about the friends, because the friends have their own stories and I don't want to give too much away, but I'll just like give like a hint or two. So like kind of like reduce the backstory of the friends, because Dahlia's friend Zofria has her own story, which is the one I'm currently writing. And then the Leo, that's the love interest slash male main character, his other friend, because both of his friends, that's because literally I'm spiraling for a minute. His other friend, which is the brother of his friend that is in Zofria's story. There we go. The other friend has his own story, and then another character has her own story. I don't want to give it away. And then I'm going to do a separate story of Dahlia's dad, along with his love interest. So it's like the stories follow after the 2-year mark at the end of the book in the epilogue. So I'm keeping the epilogue. That's another point to make. Keep my epilogue, but I just need to like spruce it up in terms of like detail and the situation, and just like take out some of the stuff about the friends, because we're gonna get the separate story on that more in detail. So I don't want to be like, oh, it's like leaving Easter eggs everywhere and then like not hatching them when I get to the actual story and forgetting that they were there type of thing. So I'm going to keep it like as minimal as possible, so then when you get into their separate stories, you see more eggs and then they start to hatch. You're like, oh, okay, this all makes sense. Everything's being put together. And I feel like the inspiration for that aspect is a lot of like Alexandria House books and J.L. Seeger's, because, well, mainly Alexandria House, because all of her characters, especially in her interconnected series, all of them are siblings, and so you get a different siblings story or like a different person in the friend group story. And the way she writes it, like you get introduced to the character that, you know, the other character that's gonna have their own story, but it's not a lot. Like you'll hear them talk to the male character, not male character, the main character, and they'll come up like a little bit later, still talking to the character, but you know a little bit about them. You just know like what their like what their job is, or maybe like a certain circumstance that they have. So like in not in Dumb Boys, what's the other one? God damn it. But in one of her interconnected series, one of the brothers has an alcohol addiction. Wow, I'm stumbling on my words. An alcohol addiction, and so you get a little bit of information from that in both of the other brothers' story, in just terms of like, oh man, I haven't seen him in a minute, like, you know, he's been struggling, or like, you know, I haven't seen him, and then the time you do get the character that pops up on the page, you hear just like a quick snippet of, they're like, oh, I'm making do, and you're like, making do how? You're like, we heard that you're addicted to alcohol, like you're an alcoholic. We learned that. So you get just a little breadcrumb, and you're like, I need to figure out what the hell's going on with this guy and what's his story. So I'm getting a lot of inspiration from her in terms of like trying to just give you just a nugget of the other characters. So when you get to their stories, it just like multiplies and everything just like goes completely crazy. So that's probably what I'm getting at from that. Any other changes? I might switch it to third person. I think third person. I might switch it to third person. I find it easier to write in first person, in present tense. But with this story, I don't know. I might switch it up to third person past tense, or even just like first person past, because like sometimes when I'm writing, the grammar part is what trips me up. Sometimes I'm like walks, but then if I say like his hands, or like it's like something like it's like past and present in the same sentence, and then I get confused, if that makes sense. So I think it's probably just best to write it in past tense. So probably like first past. I think that's what I might do. Yeah. And if not, I'll probably do third person past, because I still want to like, no, not third person. I can't do third person because it's gonna be two POVs. So it's gotta be first. So first past. So I'll just do it like that, because I still want to alternate between either every chapter or every 2 chapters between Leo and then Dahlia. You know, like switch it up so you get a little insight from both of their lives, because they're literally like the catalyst for the other stories. So I think that makes the most sense. So I think that's not even like something of changing, but in terms of just like something that I'm gonna stick with. So first person past tense will be how I write the book. And so for this one, since I'll be editing and I have like a separate challenge that I'm doing, my writing retreat challenge of writing 3,000 words, but I'm doing that challenge for the book that I'm currently reading. But for the one that I'm editing, I think I'm just going to take that bit by bit. Yeah. just take my time with it, because I really want to like flesh it out and make it really good. You know, I just really want that to be like a nice solid story, and then send it out to readers again. At first I was doing beta and alpha readers at the same time, but what I need to do is I need to split it up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do alpha readers first. So I'll probably give myself to like the end of summer for this one. So that'll be like my deadline, to keep that in mind. So deadline, end of summer. So that'll probably be like August 30th or something. Or let's just go with September 1st, really. Let's go with like September 1st. If I don't get it done by September 1st, within that first week. So by that first Friday, whatever day that is. I don't know. Let me look at my planner. The 6th. Okay. I'll write that in here too, actually, because it's my planner. It's nice and cute. Okay, so I'll just put it in here. Deadline for Leo and Dahlia. So yeah, so it'll be like my deadline for myself. So not necessarily of like I need to like edit each day, but just keeping in mind that I want that to be done by September, so then I have like a nice solid book, because then I'll figure out what to do with that from there. But I would like to send it out to alpha readers first that following week, so the 13th. So send out to alpha readers and give them a month. And it's like, because I have my goal of writing 5 books this year. It sounds a little crazy. But at least like writing the first draft of 5 books, and then like really working on them in detail. Like as I move forward. So like as I try to like really make this as perfect as it can be, because it's not going to be completely perfect. No book is completely perfect, but as perfect and it feels good to me. I'm gonna keep writing the other ones. So like the fact that I'm writing Zofria's story, which is Dahlia's friend. I'm writing Zofria's story now. So then once I'm done writing Zofria's story, because I'm gonna be editing this one along the way-ish. And then once this like starts to like dwindle, and once I'm done with Zofria's book, I'm gonna jump right into the next one and just keep them flowing. So then as people are reading, as readers are reading like the second draft of each one, I'm working on another one all the way until I get through all of the current ones that I'm going to write for this interconnected series, which is about 4 or 5 books, I think. It's not a whole lot, but just enough. I think it is. Let me open up my pages here on my iPad. Oh my God, move. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the main one is 5. So yeah. So I'll be getting through, hopefully I'll be getting through these, because it's 4 additional ones on top of the Leo and Dahlia one. So that's actually 5 in total. So hopefully I'll have all 5 of these done. That would be fantastic. And these are all romance. So I feel like it's probably gonna go a little bit quicker. And then in between, I'll probably just like start taking notes for my my fantasy book that I'm writing, because I already wrote like 100 pages of it, but I need to fix it anyway. And then the version that I started on that one, I think I have like 40 pages. So it's a lot. it's a lot on this end, but I would love to get all these books done and have just really versions of them, the different drafts of them circulating and getting read by alpha readers, beta readers, and just tweaking it, you know, just keep it going in a cycle of working on it. And then, you know, if ever I need a break, I'll take like a week break or something like that. But still like keeping that momentum going, because this is like the most I've ever written in my entire existence. Like I wrote a novella, but that took me like 3 years to write. So I really want to like amp it up and get through as many stories as possible. So so far, those are the plans for the first, not even the first, okay. I'm just going to scratch all the different versions I had before and say this is my it's my second draft. Sorry, this is my second draft because I wrote it and I edited a little bit of the first draft and just little touch-ups. I'm not counting that as like draft 2 or whatever. It's just a few edits. That's draft 1. This is draft 2. So this is my second draft of the story, and that's what we're gonna be doing for Leo and Dahlia because we gotta get through all of this. Alright, so if you like this video, be sure to like the video. Drop in the comments a purple heart if you made it all the way to the end of the video. And until next time, stay magical. Bye.